Hey guys, Lally here. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the psychology and the mindset behind pricing your offer if you're a coach, a consultant, or a business owner that offers an online business, maybe like a digital marketer or something like this. The reason why I want to talk to you about this today is because I've spoken to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business owners by phone now. I've heard their pain points, their goals, and all sorts of like bottlenecks and things in the business. And the pricing of their services is often, I'd say 60 to 70% on these calls a problem, right? And when I say a problem, I mean that either it's biting them in the ass right now, or it's going to be a problem down the line. And I want to break down in this video how to step away from being a commodity and just blurring into the sea of people online in like a very busy marketplace, and how you can actually stand out and stop making some of these mistakes, or prevent some of these mistakes before they actually happen. So right now I want to take a look at the mindset, the typical mindset of people of services and business owners, of what they do with their pricing when they start their business, right? And for some reason, a lot of courses out there actually advise people to do this. And I just think it's wrong because it causes all sorts of problems down the line. So the typical pricing psychology goes somewhat like this. First of all, when you're finding your ideal client, or, you're maybe rehashing your service, what people tend to do is when they are researching their competitors, they tend to find the competitors and have a look at what they're offering, and they also see what their price is whilst doing competitor research, right? And they really break down the offer of the person, the offer of the competitor, and then they really break down, how much is this competitor charging? And you know what they do then? They undercut their competition average price. So say if they viewed 10 competitors, what they'll do is they'll make an average of those 10 competitors, the price they're charging, an average of their services they're charging for, and then they will just undercut them. So say like it's like a $2,000 program or something like that, and they've decided to create a program which is very similar. They'll then cut it to 1,900. And they just think like if they do it this way, then more people are going to buy their program based on price, because it's kind of like when your car needs to go in for a service, or it needs to go in for repairs and things. A lot of people phone around to different garages and say, how much will this part cost to replace on my car? And then they end up just going to the garage which is going to charge them the least amount of money, right? The problem is, like, the online game is very different from taking your car in to get repaired at a garage, right? Because, if you get a car battery from one place and you get a car battery from some other place, they're both just car batteries, right? And you're not really paying for anything else. You're just going to get a new car battery in your car so it works again, or maybe a new tire or something, and the tires are both the same at both shops, and you're just going to go for the guy who charges you a little bit less for their labor and their work, right? A little bit less hourly rate, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The wheel's not going to fly off, most likely, I hope not, and the battery's probably not going to run out. But the problem is, in the online marketing space, there is tons of different options and different solutions that you can offer with your package. So when you cut it down from 2,000 to 1,900, you're drastically undervaluing yourself. And I've just obviously made these figures up on the spot here. I don't know how much you actually charge if you're watching this video. But what happens is, once you've undercut the competition price, the competition then does that back to you, right? They're like, oh, my competitor's now charging 1,900. So what I need to do is I need to charge 1,850. Oh, this pen's broken. Let's get rid of that. They're like, I need to charge 1,850 or 1,800, because that's gonna put me at the forefront again. And what happens is people keep doing this again and again and again until they end up with a product which they've put a lot of work into, which now they're selling for $100. And now to make over the years, to make as much as the original value, you have to sell like literally 20 of these units, right? You have to shift 20 of these units, and then suddenly, your Facebook ads are unprofitable. Suddenly it takes so much time in your marketplace to actually do the outreach and do the organic messaging to people to actually be able to make a profitable business there. And this ends up being a race to the bottom. And a great example of seeing something which is a race to the bottom is if you go on sites like Upwork, right? I think it's upwork.com. Okay. Just as an experiment, register with Upwork.com. It's an outsourcing freelancer website where you can hire anybody to, do your accounts for you, do your accounting, or to maybe like do graphic design or video editing, or you can hire all sorts of people, right? And go and do two things on it. Go and post an advert, first of all, and see how many people will actually apply for the advert for ridiculous rates that you will not be able to compete with if you were actually applying for a job. And then also go and apply for a few jobs there, just as you don't have to be serious about it. You just need to go and apply for a few jobs. If you're very qualified at what you do, I recommend you go into your field on Upwork and try to apply for some jobs which people are posting, which it's a problem that you can actually solve, right? And you will find 100 times out of 100, you will get outbid by somebody who is charging $3 per hour, right? And there's no way you can compete with that, right? Because when it ends up as a race to the bottom, you end up then getting outbid by someone from a country where the income isn't very high, and $3 per hour might actually be like their regular wage. And you just get outbid by that. And if you're living in maybe the UK or the US, you just cannot compete with that. And that's exactly what happens when it is a race to the bottom. So at all costs, you want to be avoiding the race to the bottom mentality. You want to be taking a step back here and being like, over time, is the price going to come down? Instead, what you need to be doing is, just wipe this off here, is basing things on value. Right. There is a limit on how much you can reduce your service and reduce your price, right? But just know that if you are reducing your price and you are trying to beat your competitors on the price margin, one of two things are true. The first is you're probably in the wrong market, shipping the wrong product, right? If you've just got a bunch of ideal customers who only care about getting the lowest value product on the market. Think back to the taking your car in for repairs and having a battery for one car and a battery for another, right? You're probably in the wrong market if you've got an online business where everyone is offering the same product and the only factor that wins is the person with the lowest price, right? Step out of that market, or you aren't offering enough value in the market, because that's really what matters, right? Your results aren't big enough. The end goal for what people, for the big promise which you're offering people, is not big enough for them. So people will not, buy it from you. Let's come up with an example. When I was a teenager, I had very, very, very bad acne, really bad acne, right? And I tried all of the products on the shelf, which were roughly priced around the same sort of price range. They were maybe like £10 per bottle and things like this. And you have to, put it on your face every night, and nothing was really effective there. And I remember feeling like, even on £10 products, I feel like I've wasted a lot of money trying to do all of this. And the products were always marketed as, it helps your acne, it reduces redness, it reduces soreness over time. And when you actually look into them and look into the chemicals being used, you might get a win out of it, you might not get a win out of it. It might work for you, it might not work for you. However, how much would I have paid for a product which would guarantee that it would get rid of my acne fast and quickly without giving me extra blemishes and giving me scars and things like this? And how much would I have paid just to have normal looking skin, right? Because acne was a very, very painful problem for me when I was growing up, both physically and like emotionally as well, because when you have things like that, you don't feel, you haven't got the confidence in yourself and things like this. So I would have paid a lot of money to invest in something like that. Not only would I have paid a lot of money, but somebody who cares dearly about me would have also paid a lot of money for this supplement, which doesn't exist, or medicine that I could put on my skin that would make me feel happy again, make me feel confident again. And the reason why is because the promise is, it's huge, right? It's not like a linear promise where, you know, the price over time reduces down via competition like that. If I could get a product which would guarantee that it would actually, you know, reduce the spots and actually get rid of them altogether, whoo, I would have paid a lot of money for that. I would have, you know, begged my family to, if I couldn't afford it, I would have begged my family to actually pay for that product for me. And the reason why is it all just comes back to value. So if you find with your product, your service, or whatever you're offering people, if you find that you found yourself in a little bit of a race to the bottom, take a step back for like a few weeks or a month and think to yourself, like, how can I make my product more valuable that actually I can charge more for it, and I actually don't have to end up in the race to the bottom, because obviously that's a loser's game, right? And when you think about this, take into all considerations as well, like, is this value that I'm going to add, is it going to automatically differentiate myself? Going back to the acne example there, if that packaging on this make-believe product said, this product will completely cure your acne, and it stayed true to its promise, right? And it had maybe like loads of testimonials and things like this. Like, wow, that's a lot of value. So break it down, that example, and just think, what problem am I solving in my business, and how can I actually solve this problem in a better way, in a more clear way, have more impact on the problem, and actually, you know, give more value. In this day and age, with everyone releasing courses and everyone releasing products, too many people are far too concerned about scaling and getting more people to buy their products and getting more people to buy their coaching programs than they are actually about getting a quality product out there and getting a quality service out there, which is why we're entering a time of where the price and the race to the bottom is actually a thing now, because people are like, oh, I just need to scale and make as much money as possible. But value always comes back to the heart of it, is your customer, right? It's your customer and their path, right? And I think that's really all I can add about this video. So I hope this really helps. This is just completely free value. And if it did, please leave a like on the video, and also, you know, consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content about this. But other than that, have a fantastic day.